Hello. I manifested the frozen Arctic. So I was gonna make yesterday's video about that, but then I addressed that SP question, so I waited till today to do this. What I was getting at the video before is that I think it really is worth considering how much time do I need to be spending on YouTube. On YouTube and on social media in general, finding out about these law of attraction concepts and ideas. And how much of that time is really spent in contemplation about these ideas as opposed to simply, kind of like just distracting me or entertaining me, right? Because there's a huge difference between, becoming kind of meditative and contemplating these various fascinating LOA, law of assumption, manifesting concepts, and just, being kind of entertained by them or being even inspired, really, like in many ways by them, by watching people on YouTube. It's a distraction a lot of the time. Not always, and, you have to use your own discernment and judgment about when it's a distraction and when it's not. But what I was suggesting is, I really think for most of us, we'd be wise to spend much less time on social media, and the only social media that I'm really on talking about this stuff now, I used to do Reddit, and I decided, it was far too toxic to actually get any decent information across effectively because of all of the assholes on there. To quick riff on that, you had an incredible set of moderators on there this past summer. I was brought on board, but the people who were already moderating, Maggie, a couple of our friends, like that was literally like, you could not have asked for better moderators for a Neville forum than that. And it was unsavageable, completely unsavageable. So, long story short, fuck Reddit, even though there's some great information on there, you have to parse through far too much toxic bullshit. But YouTube, which I'm still on because I like it, because it's the Wild West here and you can say whatever you want and a lot of people find you. You have to discern what is actually helping you. And what I was saying the other day is that you probably want to curb what you are watching down from, like, if you watch an hour or two a day, try to get it down gradually, like over a couple days, to like a half an hour a day, starting tomorrow or today even. Or try to get it down to 10 minutes a day or one video a day. Or what I was really suggesting is just take a week off and see how you feel. Do not go on social media in regards to any of this LOA stuff or law of assumption stuff for a week and see how you feel. And also, it should go pretty much without saying, curb your social media in general. Basically, don't go on social media for a week, and don't follow the news or something unless it's highly pertinent for you. See how you feel with that type of mental diet, right? With that type of information diet. It used to be seemingly a lot easier to do this. Social media is at our fingertips all the time with our phones now. And I'm telling you, YouTube is not a good place, generally speaking, to learn about these LOA principles. It's a terrible place. You are much better off going to the source, whether it's a book or an audiobook, or if you do want to watch anything on YouTube, I would suggest watching old lectures more than, YouTubers like myself doing stuff. And if you're a Neville fan, again, I've said this a bunch, but to restate it, most of the Neville lectures on YouTube are from Post-Promise Neville. And if you think Post-Promise Neville is similar to Pre-Promise Neville, I strongly disagree with you. Neville's best information from a practical standpoint is almost all before the promise. To take it further, and if you're going to go to Reddit ever, read the post I'm going to link below. I made a post on Reddit this summer when I was helping moderate it, helping, take care of it some, about how you should just read 5 lessons and the essential Neville text if you want to get back to bare bones Neville. You should not be watching random YouTubers or even Neville's later lectures from the 60s probably, if you really want to just, get the essential Neville information from a practical level, in my opinion. I'll link to that post below. Long story short, get the F off of YouTube. Spend 10, 20 minutes a day on here tops, usually. Unless you're listening to like a longer audiobook on here or something like that. But listen to audiobooks or read. Remember when people used to read? They taught you about it in school. I know some of you have this false impression that like I'm some kind of academic and curating law of attraction stuff. It couldn't be further from the truth. I'm someone who likes to experiment. I fucking hated the formality of school. I'm self-taught about most of these concepts. And I find them fascinating. But the reason I find them fascinating is because I don't watch dumb YouTubers like myself talking about them, but I go to the source and I read them or I listen to them. And you'll find so much value there, so much more value, and it'll be so much more contemplative, and you'll be able to meditate or pray or visualize or affirm over it much more easily if you cut out the social media, if you cut out the media aspect, or at least drastically reduce it. So try it for the next week. And in honor of that, I'm not posting any videos for the next week. I might post, a podcast episode if I make one, because that's not social media. But there's going to be no car videos for the next week. See you in a week, maybe longer, might be a month, who knows. If you have any questions, or if you want coaching, if you want to get deeper with this stuff in short, contact me. I always say it, radicalcounselor.com. People ask me questions on the comments all the time. I'm not going to respond to the questions. You want to talk to a real person? You want to be counseled on this stuff? Email me, for God's sake. I'll gladly talk to you if you have a serious question that you want to discuss with somebody. Let's get real here. Let's get introspective. YouTube is not the place for that. I'll be back probably in about a week. Until then, you can find out more at www.radicalcounselor.com.